Hey, my buddy, I've known most of my life as a god of water filtration. By proxy, he's made me a demigod of water filtration. This is kind of important right now. It's like the world's going to enter World War III. Let's hope that doesn't happen, right? They're important things to have. Everybody should have a go bag, by the way, and I've made a video on my go bag. I mentioned all its contents, except for a couple of things. You probably guessed what they are. With what's going on in Ukraine, and there's now it's 2.3 million, could be higher now, refugees that have been fleeing, by foot and all sorts of things, and just undergoing all sorts of hell. And I think Poland has got like 1.7 million refugees alone, that's a lot. And there were some horrible images. They were covered up with sheets of people that had just made it to Poland, and there was so much for them they literally dropped dead on the spot. There are a lot of people that have expired along the way, not due to artillery or anything else, but because of the fact that there was nothing to drink. You think with it being winter time, and of course, some people just don't think, especially when your brain gets to that point. They could just shovel the snow. You can make things to melt snow, and also to help not drink stuff and you end up with giardia. I mean, there are a lot of people that die from dysentery. I don't know, it was World War I. There's plenty of water, but people were just dropping dead from dysentery. And these are the two best. Now, these are personal water filters, all right? There are different classes of water filter for how much liquid they can take. It's about, washing your face and hands and having water for your whole family to drink. That's another matter. As far as 1 to 5 people, survival to help you make it along the way for a month or 2 or 3 or even a hair more than that, then these are more than sufficient. These are the two best water filters for the money. Like I said, there are different classes of water filter. By the way, those little straw devices are absolute garbage. I know they don't weigh anything, and it's absolutely better than nothing, but they are nearly nothing. They're absolutely horrible. I know they don't weigh anything. They don't take up any space, but they really are horrible. This one used to be... I have 3 of these. I've owned 5 of them. 2 of them I gave away ages ago, people that needed them. One was going to hike across America. I never got it back. It's like after you use it a few times, just go ahead and keep it. The replacement filters for these are $49. You get X number of thousands of gallons. I forget the X number of thousands of gallons. I've been using these for an extremely long time. Now this company is owned, this particular filter is owned by Katadyn, which is a Swiss company. And they are Swiss made, and they average there's 2 different versions. There's a clear version, which is this one, which is like $12 more, and then the non-clear version, there's no advantage. They both take the exact same filter. This is called the Hiker by Katadyn. This is the best, most reliable simplex filter. It doesn't really weigh anything. Is it plastic? Yes. Low parts count, incredibly high reliability. This is the Katadyn Hiker. $60 here in the United States. I don't know where it would be at. And anyway, there was a story of some Ukrainians that I heard today that people were stopping and feeding themselves and their children water from, quote, muddy puddles. I know when people have to flee for their lives, they don't grab all the right stuff, and most people don't have a go bag, especially people in Eastern Europe, and definitely so Ukraine, and people don't think about this stuff. The things that people don't think about, they'll think about tools. Even then, people don't think about it. The tools that they need to save their life, for self-defense and defense of others, they'll think of that. The really unintelligent people won't think of that stuff at all. But people won't think of antibiotics, like Cipro, which is prescription, by the way. I'm not telling anybody what to take. You have to consult with your doctor to get it. It's an antibiotic. Blood clotting stuff. They're these special powder that you pour into a deep wound that will keep you from bleeding to death. These are trauma kits. I have all this stuff. I have one of those kits up in my cabin. I have another one like right over there. But people don't think of water filtration. Water filtration is so incredibly important. I lived in Russia. You get cryptosporidium. They call it Montezuma's revenge. You know, you can get, and it just make you sick as a dog. It just make you feel like you're going to die. Makes you complete opposite of being productive. Neither one of these filters expire. You know, after you've used them once, you need to dry the filters out. Otherwise, they can grow mold in the inside. These are what, if it's good enough for Delta Force and Navy SEALs, pretty sure it's good enough for you. Now these are really expensive. New, they're $360. Right now they're about $360. These are 100% made in Switzerland. This is the Katadyn Pocket filter. It's ceramic. Now it doesn't have charcoal filtration, so if you're filtering, you know, muckety water from the dirty, you know, like imagine car tracks and it rained the day after the car tracks or something. You know, you're filtering water out of a muddy hole. You know, it won't taste the best because it's not charcoal filtered, but it will be pure, it will, you know, sustain you, and it's not going to, you know, make your guts twist up on themselves. It just won't, you know, it just tastes like mountain water where people have a well, and it's full of iron, and then you're like, if you're not used to it, you're like, man, this water tastes, ugh. Yeah, but you're not going to get sick from it. It's going to keep you alive and keep you sustained. So this is the Katadyn Pocket filter. You don't want to put that much money forward, but this is, other than like Cipro for antibiotic and Quick Clot, and there's about 50 other little trauma items, which I have, and I'm not going to go through all of them. Trauma items and first aid items like triple antibiotic ointment, blah blah blah. Okay, that's fine. But other than Quick Clot, things to personally save yourself. You know, these are never going to go bad, you know, unless you use them and put them, you know, there's a filter inside of here, yeah? It's a ceramic filter in here. I don't know if I'd take it out. I've taken this apart like a million times. This device is really, really simple. Like I said, this is what the SEALs and Delta Force use when they're going in the middle of, you know, God knows nowhere. And there's, because if you're perpetually retching, and doubled over, you can't do any job, you know. Let me take it out here. Here's a ceramic filter. Like if you use it, this is going to be wet. And you come home, you've used it all weekend on an outing or something. Here, I'll take the plunger out of here. It's a simple little plunger. No parts are going to fall off of it. This is all one unit right here. The replacement, these are good for many, many thousands of gallons. Like you use it over the weekend, a hiking trip, whatever. You take it out, you let it air dry for about a week. Because if you just bring it home, you know, it's still got water sloshing in there. Mold and mildew are going to start to form on the outside of this. And it's going to clog up the pores of the ceramic filter. This is $150. Yeah, replacement one of these. Two of these filters properly taken. When these actually get dirty, you know, they come with a little Brillo pad, a little Scotch-Brite pad, not a metal Brillo pad, but one of these pads. You do is you scrape off the layer of ceramic. This acts like an eraser, and you're like erasing off a super thin layer of the ceramic. And it starts to shrink the more you keep sanding it, which is, this stuff is like sandpaper to this soft ceramic filter. And it gets thinner and thinner and thinner. When it reaches a certain thinness, it's time for replacement. But I mean, one of these is good for, this is the stuff. It's Swiss perfection, period. And it's so simple. Look at this. A blind person could take it apart and put it back together. Look how long it takes me to put it back together. There's that. You drop the plunger in right here. Drop a little silicone on the O-ring right there, which I don't need to do that since it doesn't need it. Plop it back in. screw it back together. It comes with all the hoses in here. I'm not going to pull it out. It's a Katadyn Pocket filter. $360 depending on where you get it from. Probably get them on eBay for... This is the latest generation of this. There's an older generation which is essentially the same thing. It looks a little different. There's some very, very minor improvements, but it's 98% the exact same filter. You see it, you get your little baggie with little hose attachments, blah, 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 in here. This is a little float with a little pre-filter, so it, you know, filters out the cat poop and, you know, whatever else is floating on this super disgusting water that you're trying to drink from because you're dying of thirst. Anyway, all these people in Ukraine that are fleeing to Poland, Romania, whatnot, they're dying of thirst, or they're dying of catching extra creepy bugs from the muddy, dirty holes. They're literally drinking them from muddy holes. And this is as important or as important as Cipro and blood clot. You know, there's trauma items, there's first aid items, but preventative maintenance is always better than, you know, trying to, you know, fix what is horribly wrong with you. And since last I checked, human beings need to consume water. You can go along for a long way without food, especially someone that's fat like me. Can't go that long without water. That's what makes a water filter so important. Anyway, those are two top recommendations. I actually know something about water filtration. Yeah, there's Berkey water filter. There's other water filters that are great, but they're huge suckers. They're not meant for super portability, nor would you, you know, for feeding a huge family and, you know, their washing their dishes needs. These are not for that. They're not designed for that. I'm not saying you couldn't get clean water out of this and wash your dishes. You can. You could filter hundreds of gallons out of either one of these. But they're not meant for a lot of people for super enormous periods of time. For one person for a long time, yeah. The hiker is incredibly lightweight. Doesn't weigh much. Anyway, I really wanted to make this video. Thanks so much for watching. And have a lovely week.